Hot cup of tea? Attention here? Right, so one thing I hate doing is speaking. And this is the very second time, I think, in my 25 years association with this institution that I have taken the stage. And I don't thoroughly enjoy it. And quite frankly, can you hear me? Quite frankly, I think Jaggi, he's a big speech to follow. It's very difficult to follow a speech. But I am the exact opposite of him. I'm highly introverted. I used to turn up to all classes on time, submit all my assignments on time. And I had one girlfriend in college. Who I didn't marry. My point is that there are different strokes for different folk. All of you are very, very different, and what turns you on, what turns you off has to be that unique. That's really the point. You can be successful or a failure, irrespective of what is your quiver of arms. Now, that said, I don't enjoy speaking in public. I'm not a very good orator. In fact, I thought of what to speak about, and Jaggi started it off for me by talking about passion. So I carried, like, everybody seems to have presentations and iPads. I have this little piece of paper. These are my cue notes. So bear with me. Okay. There is a reason why I'm a career hotelier. There are very few of us left in my batch, and I think, what is this, the 30th batch of WGSHA, around? 33rd batch of WGSHA. So you go back 15 years, I think there are about 4 or 5 of us left per batch at maximum in the world of hotels. And that's quite sad, because you're learning for 3 and 4 years everything to do with hotels, and it's quite sad that you're taking up work in other lines of work, of professionalism, which is fine. There's nothing bad about it. I wish there were a lot more of you continuing to stay in hotels, because this is it's a fantastic lifestyle. It's a fabulous lifestyle. That said, the reason that we are not good speakers is because we pay to listen. All the time people are talking to us, and most of our lives are spent listening and nodding and trying to understand what they're saying with their words, with their bodies, with their actions. And that's really why most of us do not end up becoming great award-winning orators. But I'll try to do as best as I can to these 20 minutes or half an hour. Okay, so the topic I have chosen to speak about is passion. How many of you are passionate about anything? Is that all? That's like 30% of you. Okay, that's not bad. The rest of you, please catch up. At some point in time, you need to have some kind of a passion. How many of you are graduating this year? Okay, you will be asked this in your interviews. What is your passion, or what are you most passionate about? Yeah? So can somebody tell me what they're passionate about? Something that has nothing to do with your college or your work or your girlfriend or your boyfriend, one of these things. What are you passionate about? None? All of you lifted your hands? Yes. You're passionate about speech and debate. That's very, very nice. Who else? You are passionate about playing sport and certain outdoor activities. Okay, great. So listen, now this final year students and the second to final year students and all of you who are in college in any case are here for some reason. Yeah? You're here because you've either chosen to come here and take up hotel management, or your folks ask you to come and join hotel management and you're here. And there is a lot here, I'm certain, in this whole room where you did not get into what you wanted to get into, and hence you're here. Is that possible? Yes? Now, this is the cards that you're dealt with. You are here, and how well you use this, the cards can't change. But how you can play the cards can change, yeah? And that, I believe, is driven by the passion that is right behind your actions, intent, and all of those things. Now, I also believe that passion is not a plan. It's not a plan to succeed. It is not a job. It's not a task. It's not It's not a sport. It's not something that you can do. It is something that you are. Yeah? And in that context, passion is a feeling. You know, if I feel passionate about something, that can change, just like a feeling can change. So today you're in love with somebody, like Mr. Marva was saying. I had a girlfriend in my first semester, and then my passion switched gears, and I had a second girlfriend in my second semester. That's the way it is. So passion is like that. It's a moving picture, but it's important to have one of them. What you got to know is this, that you may have a dream manifest. You may want to get somewhere. You may want to achieve something in your life. Nobody's going to give it to you. You have to work. You have to turn up to the gym every day. You have to turn up to the classroom every day, like me, like I used to, turn up your assignments on time every day. And maybe if you're very lucky, is really when is the time when you will succeed. Yeah? But then again, success is also highly overrated. There are some of my batchmates who are restaurant managers today. Some of them are entrepreneurs. Some of them are artists. Everybody is happy. It's not like everybody is living with regret of each other. There will always be somebody ahead of you in life, of your circle of friends. There will be always somebody behind you. It's never a race that you will ever win. What else? Since I am not such a good speaker, I thought I'll also use Jaggi's style and say and share with you some of the stories of my life. Yeah. They're of course not as interesting and funny as Jaggi's were, but here goes. Okay, so how many of you feel that passion is innate? It is something that you're born with, or it's there in your DNA. A passion for whatever. You like the lady who said debating is my passion, and somebody who said sports is my passion. How many of you feel that these things are things that are innate to you, that come to you? Only one? Two? What do the rest of you feel? Somebody? Anybody? You're a very uncooperative crowd. I don't like you at all. You're killing my speech if you don't participate. Come on, somebody who feels that passion is not innate comes from where? Yes, tell me.
So I think that you gain passion over time as you experience new things. When you experience something, then you know that you can become passionate about it.
I think that's a very good answer. The reason we are not passionate, when you're a child, you're not passionate about, say, cricket. At 5, you're not going to be passionate about cricket. At 15, you're not going to be passionate about hoteliering. At 25, you're not going to be passionate about retirement funds. But they'll all come into your life at some point in time. So in the context of where you are in your life, your passion will come through. And I am an example of one such thing. I did not want to come into hotels. I did not want to be a hotelier. It was thrust upon me in my final year. By final year, I had done 2 industrial trainings, and I said, no way, this is not life for me. I want to be something else, an astronaut, a mathematician, or whatever else, but I don't want to be a hotelier. But I was lucky enough to get into the ITC HMI program, and even on the day I was to accept my letter, I said, I am not interested. I don't think this is for me. My then principal called me to his office, and he said, look, if you don't like it in 6 months' time, quit. But I think there were 3 or 4 of us from the college who had gotten in. And in those years, the batch used to be very small. And the All India batch was about 12, 13 people. So I said, why don't you try it out? And if you don't like it, leave it. I think, to me, HMI was really the biggest door through which I walked, because I only realized I would be so it's the other way around. For me, success fueled my passion. I became so successful quickly, and all of us became very quickly successful in what it is that we were doing, that we didn't want to do anything at all. So it will happen to you that many times in your lives and your careers, you will be stuck with something that you're not necessarily wanting to achieve. Yeah? If you plow through at it, there's a good chance you'll become extremely good at it, and also you will be probably celebrated for your achievements in that line of work. I am also destructive to the extent to tell you that, no, please don't do what everybody else is doing. If you do not want to join a hotel company, whatever be that company, be it ITC Hotels or Marriott or the Oberoi or the Taj. Don't. Please don't. And we'll talk about one story from my life, which we'll come to that one story as well. When I talk to my peers, my guests, and people around me, and I ask them, what are you passionate about? And it does come up over drinks and discussions. Everybody's telling me stuff like, I like biking, and I like sailing, and I like golf, and I like running, and I like literature. Nobody's ever told me that they're passionate about their job. It is true, because the jobs that you will end up doing for a living every day is not following your passion. There are very few exceptions who will probably be able to do it every day. But it's a myth that you will be able to be doing a job that you're passionate about. It's all nonsense. I'll tell you why. Because, you know, the guy who's cleaning the restrooms here on this floor, I'm sure he's doing a very good job of cleaning the restrooms, yeah? He's making sure it is spotless, it doesn't stink, it's none of those things. I'm sure he's not passionate about a clean bathroom. Would he be? That's not his life story, right? So your passion and your work can be interlinked. That's fantastic if it happens. But there is it's not a necessity. Yeah? You will have to be able to find some passion for the job that you do, but find the time to follow the passion that you actually have. Yeah? Okay, side 2 of my little chit. I am following a little 2-3 story piece on something that I've read from Stephen Covey, a 4-point agenda on how to live your life. And these stories on people around me and not myself. So the first pillar, I think, is to live your life. Live as you wish. Story number 1. There was a girl who gotten into my HMI batch, a girl from the Taj College in Aurangabad. And she was very, very good at what she was doing. This was 3 months into the game, and she was very, very good at what she was doing. She was top of the class, better at all assignments, all of those things. But she kept telling me that we were very close friends. So she kept telling me, no, this is not what I want to do. I want to be a performer. And I used to laugh it off. All of us used to laugh it off. When suddenly 3 months into the game, she quit. And she said, I want to become a performer. So she left HMI and became a waitress in one of the other hotels down the street. And then we lost touch. 5 years later, I bump into her in a different city. Now I'm in Bombay, and I bump into her in a different city. And she says, okay, we were out somewhere in the evening. She said, why don't you come home? We'll, go home, change, and we'll go out for dinner. I went to her place. She was living in a dump, like a 1-bedroom dump somewhere in Bandra. Very, very horrible place. So that evening when we were talking, I said, Trosh, what is wrong with you? You're such an intelligent, brilliant, good-looking, great personality girl. What are you doing in this dump? Why don't you get rid of whatever it is that you're stubborn about performing arts and get back into hotels? I will help you. But then I had become an assistant manager, and I thought I was the king of the world. So I said, okay, I will help you get a job. She said no, and then she disappeared. She chased and she chased and she chased, and she kept saying that, look, I want to live my life on my terms. This is what I want to do. Performing is what gives me happiness. I am going to become a performer. She went on to become, she won Roadies, I think season 3 or 4 thereafter. Went on to star in a bunch of movies, including Chak De India. Today she's probably India's top 3 or 4 MCs, and she chose to live her life on her terms, backed with her passion. And she could have probably been a great hotelier, a general manager at a very young age. But it is indeed different strokes for different folks. You've got to understand where you want to be and head in that direction. That direction can keep changing. You can keep changing your passion. But without a direction, I guess you will end up nowhere. Yeah? That was story number 1. Story number 2 is on love. I have a cousin who graduated from WGSHA. She was part of the culinary program. She graduated about 2-3 years ago. I'm not sure how. And by then I was already a general manager, and her parents and her and everybody kept consulting me. What should she do? my upbringing is in classical hotels. I believe that you have to work your way from down to top. I believe that in the initial years, just like somebody felt that ragging is an essential part of your grooming, I believe that training your body and mind to 12 hours, 14 hours of standing and working is necessary for you to be able to succeed in your life. I believe that the strongest brands you can work with will add great value to your career in the future. Now this girl, she got into a couple of programs, she refused all of them. And next thing I know, she's working with some standalone restaurant somewhere again in Delhi. When we got talking, I asked her why when you were doing so well. I think she was one of the toppers, either the topper or the number 2 in her batch. I said, why are you doing what you're doing? It is so silly. You can get into the best programs. Why is it that you're not interested in going the well laid out path for your career? She told me what I guess many of you think. Just like 80% of millennials don't want to do something new, do not want a job, but want to create their own opportunities. This girl was the same. She said, I will work here, and she was working the grill at a really, it was a decent restaurant, but she was working a grill. She could have been a manager. She didn't want to do that. I think next month she's opening her first restaurant. She's chased it, she's got her investors, and she loves what she does. She loves, she says, cooking, and I think she's chased her passion out. She's reached her target. So there is love for what you do and love for yourself, but around you there's also people who are passionate about you as a person, that they love you so much. Your spouse is going to be an important part of your life whenever that happens, but that's that's the biggest relationship you'll have. But there are people commonly found around you who will love you for their passion of you. I have an example with my life. When I was going for my final HMI interview, I did not have a matching tie and a pocket square. My then principal called me home, asked me to carry the suit I was planning to wear. He took out his set of whatever ties and pocket squares that he had, and he said, you choose, and if you get through, you can keep it. And there was a pair of cufflinks. To date, I have that because I got through and he was generous enough to give me his... So there are people who express their kindness to you and their love for you because they believe in you, and the passion that they have for you needs to, at some point in time, fuel your passion. One other aspect of passion that I like to talk about is that we take our lives too seriously, our jobs too seriously. I'm sure a lot of you take your studies too seriously. And when I tell, like I met somebody from a batch or two below me, I think 13th course or something, about a couple of weeks ago, and we got talking. And she said, I never used to see you. You were always nowhere around. You were not at the basketball court and not in the parties and not in holy celebrations and all of those things. What is wrong with you? What the hell were you doing in college if you were not doing anything that these boys and girls in college do? You laugh about it, and I think it's a very important thing to have a sense of humor if you want to succeed and you're passionate about your success. There was a time, I remember when I was a young manager, a more senior manager, we were having a chat in the locker, and he said, Aaj pata kya hua? This guy pulled out his gun and he said he'll shoot me in the liver in the hotel. Those were the years when gang wars were just coming to an end in Bombay. And he was laughing about it. I did not understand how can he be thinking this is funny that somebody pulls a gun at you in the hotel and you find it funny. I figured a lot later that he had a sense of humor about what was happening around him. And there will be terrible days, believe me. I'm sure you have some terrible days already, but that's 10x more that you're going to see pretty much every week in your lives. It's very important to have a sense of humor if you need your passion to continue to sustain. Yeah, so that's really my 2 bits on passion. It's a very innate, very personal subject. You will find yours. I'm certain you'll find yours. If nothing else, you'll find it in the person you're dating. But find it, chase it, leave room for it to change. Yeah, and to live a meaningful life, you will. It's the other way around, really. That you don't need to chase your passion. Your passion will chase you if your feet are on the ground. Okay, thank you very much.
Students, are you ready with your questions? Manas will answer your questions.
What are the everyday things that you could practice to chase your passions and stay committed to your goals?
I think it's the other way around. You know, there are lots of average people in the world. Yeah? And lots of average people use alarm clocks to wake up. Can you hear me? Yeah. Lots of average people in the world, lots of average people use alarm clocks to wake up. Whatever wakes you up should be your passion. So you don't need to do anything to chase your passion. It is the other way around. If you wake up, somebody said, Mr. Marwa said earlier today that I wake up at 6 because I'm excited about closing my deals. I wake up every day because I'm excited about going running in the morning. What wakes you up is really, it needs to be your passion. So you don't need to work towards the 4 things to do to make sure that your passion, all the boxes are ticked. It's not a plan, it's a feeling. You don't need to work on feelings. Yeah?
Good morning, sir. My name is Soumya. As you mentioned that you were an introvert, but how do you still manage to build such good customer relationships?
Okay. What do you wear when you go to bed? You wear pajamas and a t-shirt. I imagine that's what I wear. What do you wear when you're going swimming? I wear a pair of swimming trunks. What do I wear when I turn up to work? I wear a suit and a tie. In fact, SpiceJet lost my jacket when I was coming here. They found it at 12 in the night. So what you are at work is what you are at the core it defines the way you are as a person. It doesn't define your job or how well you speak or how many people you meet. So a greatly extroverted person can be an extremely poor-performing person in something that's generally required to be extroverted. For example, sales. Somebody who's introverted can be extremely successful at the very same job as well. So long as you learn how to wear these clothes when you're walking into doing that role, you'll do just fine. Don't let that be an inhibition for any of you. Whether you're innately introverted or extroverted will not define how far you go in your careers. Not at all.
Good morning, sir. My name is Amit. I feel this question is very appropriate to you because you won a Young General Manager of the Year award in year 2015. Nowadays, young managers face this challenge where there are a lot of older employees already working in the hotel. And, I've observed in my internship, it gets very tough for them to manage. So I feel you'll be the right person to tell us how efficiently you have managed to overcome these obstacles. Thank you, sir.
Okay. I have never faced a challenge of this nature, ever in my life, although I've worked for much, much older hotels with much, much older staff. I think when you grow in your lives and you become young managers, the day you start thinking that you know more than them is the first day of the end of your life. If you're a good manager, a manager needs to harness the resources of the people around him or her, yeah? So if you are, for example, a great gentleman, the greatest general manager can't cook to save his life, right? So you harness the talents and the strengths of the team around you. So they are never an obstacle. In fact, the older the better. The older the more experience, the older the way they are able to deal with situations for you on behalf of you is unbelievable. When you, however, go and say, I am a young Turk, listen to me because I'm boss, end of story. Yeah? Okay. Thank you so much.
So my question was about how to be motivated, sir, because a lot of people after doing their industrial training programs, they get really demotivated, and I think a lot of people in this room will probably agree with me also. So how do you, if you're passionate about something, keep going towards your goal that you're setting, sir?
Can I ask you a question?
Yes,
What
sir.
are you and your friends demotivated about?
So usually I think the long working hours is the first complaint. And then a lot of people think that they might be capable of doing a lot more and learning a lot more, which they are not, trusted with doing during their internship periods. And I feel that they also get like a clarity on where they want to be as they do their internships, and that provides like a wrong idea for them the way it is right now in most of the hotels that we've seen.
Okay, fine. I'll try to answer to the best of my ability. I was actually a victim of the same thing, when I was about your age. One is that long hours. Now, which line of work, in your opinion, does not have long hours? Any work,
So
line of work you feel that?
So every work, every field of work, they'll have long hours. But a lot of people complain that these are very rigorous hours that you have to spend in the hotel within those four walls, and there's no outside interaction if you're in the operational departments. So that is like a big concern amongst a lot of people. So to deal with that and to get over that, mindset.
Okay, fine. Let me try to then quickly answer. So number one is that don't be under the mistaken impression that other lines of work does not require you to be. You can sit, you're Amit, isn't it? Sit. Som. Don't be under the impression that other lines of work will have far fewer hours than the line of hotellerie. It is not true. Your lives may be a little bit lopsided because your work may start at 1 in the afternoon and go on till midnight, or 3 in the evening and go on till 2 in the morning. But it is not true that in today's world, hotels don't stretch you more like they used to, say, 15, 20 years ago. That's number one. Number two is that you chose to be here. Nobody put a gun to your head to say, come and join hotel management, come and join WGSHA. Did they? You did your groundwork. When you came in, you had some discovery moments, I'm sure. That your seniors said that it will be long hours, and then your faculty said it will be long hours, then you went to do industrial training, and then you realize it will be long hours. It's hard work, it's rigorous work, physically strenuous work. You should quit. Because this is our business. Our business requires us to be physically strong. We have to be strong at the end of a 12-hour shift. You have to be strong and smiling at the end of a 14-hour shift. That is our business. That's the way it works. You can't choose the time when your customers come to you. We don't have that luxury. We don't have the luxury. It's a 24-hour operation. We don't have the luxury of closing shop and saying thank you very much when the shift is over. That's the way it is. That is this business. That's unique to our business. You will get your heads around it. If you're going to survive 5 years in hotels, there's a good chance you'll survive the rest of your life in hotels. Of which the first 5 months will be very, 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 very physically tiring and strenuous and all of those things. But when you look back, you laugh at what you were so worried about. It's a great line of work to be in. Hotels is fantastic. You meet some amazing people. It's very, very satisfying. It is not true that the remuneration is poor. It's now reaching a top tier level. Unless you're like a neurosurgeon or a astronaut, you'll not get paid so much. But otherwise, amongst all, maybe the top 20 corporate roles, this is a fantastic line of work to be in. Opportunities galore. There are hotels opening left, right, and center. Yes, but it will mean hard work. It will mean a little bit of, compromising on your weekends and your girlfriends and your family and all of those things. It will happen. It will continue to happen. It happens in my life even now. And I'm sure everybody who's a hotelier here, it's happening in their lives as well. But if you're not cut for it, don't put yourself through it. It's not worth it. Okay? Okay, thank you guys. Thank you very much.
We would like to thank Mr. Manas Krishnamurthy for enlightening us with his words.
Now I will like to summarize the speech. Passion. As Sir mentioned, everybody needs to be passionate about something. Passion is not a plan to succeed. It is a feeling which everyone should have to be better in their work and career. From not wanting to be a hotelier to getting into ITC, for Sir's success fueled his passion. He stated that passion and work can't be interlinked, but you have to have some passion about what you do.
He also shared with us some stories pertaining to his life, which made us realize that we need a direction in life. Without a direction, we'll be nowhere. He also spoke about some people commonly found around us who will be passionate about us. He also spoke about another important aspect of passion. We often take our lives too seriously. It's important to have a sense of humor if we need our passion to continue to sustain. We need to find a passion and chase it. Thank you.